Picture two refrigerators. The first stands quietly in a basement. Its white paint has turned cream, the chrome handle is scratched, and the rubber seal is worn. It may have survived 3 kitchens, 2 renovations, and an entire generation of family life. Yet when the compressor clicks on, it still gets cold. Now picture the second refrigerator. It has stainless steel doors, digital controls, an ice maker, chilled water, multiple sensors, and perhaps even a screen connected to the internet. It is less than 10 years old. But this morning, it stopped cooling because one small electronic component is no longer responding. For many people, the conclusion seems obvious. They just do not make refrigerators like they used to. But that is only partly true. Old refrigerators were not magical, and modern refrigerators are not automatically bad. The real explanation is hidden inside their design, price, energy use, and the way people now repair and replace appliances. So why did some old refrigerators last 30, 40, or even 50 years? First, we need to correct one myth. Most refrigerators from the past did not last 40 years. We remember the survivors, the white refrigerator in our parents' kitchen, the Harvest Gold model at our grandmother's house, or the avocado green machine that eventually moved to the garage. We do not remember the refrigerators that failed early and were hauled away. This is survivor bias. A 50-year-old refrigerator is an exceptional survivor, not necessarily an average machine from its time. Many also spent their later years in a basement or garage. That lighter duty may have helped. But the biggest reason was simplicity. The basic refrigeration process has not changed very much. A compressor moves refrigerant through a sealed system. The refrigerant collects heat from inside the cabinet and releases it outside. But the machine controlling that process has changed dramatically. A basic older refrigerator relied on a compressor, start relay, thermostat, condenser, evaporator, door seal, and perhaps a simple fan. The thermostat sensed temperature and switched the compressor on or off. That was largely it. There was no touch screen, Wi-Fi, software, or network of circuit boards. And in many manual defrost refrigerators, there was no automatic defrost system. The owner had to remove the food, unplug the machine, and wait for the ice to melt. It was inconvenient. But it also meant there was no defrost heater, sensor, timer, or electronic controller waiting to fail. Older appliances were not always easier to live with. They were often easier to understand. And this leads to one of the most important rules in engineering. A component that does not exist cannot fail. The old refrigerator was mainly a cooling machine. A modern refrigerator may look like one appliance, but inside it can be a collection of connected systems. It may contain temperature sensors, control boards, motorized air dampers, fans, defrost heaters, water valves, filters, dispenser switches, and ice maker motors. Some models add cameras, touch screens, internet connections, and separate temperature zones. More features mean more possible failure points. The compressor may still be healthy. But if a sensor sends the wrong information, a fan stops, a damper gets stuck, or a control board fails, the whole refrigerator may appear dead. Complexity gives us convenience. It also creates dependency. There is another major difference. In the past, a failed part did not automatically mean the refrigerator was finished. Standing between the machine and the junkyard was the neighborhood appliance repairman. Local technicians understood the machine. Suppliers stocked relays, thermostats, gaskets, and motors. Wiring diagrams could be followed. Owners believed repair was worth paying for. A refrigerator could suffer several failures and still be described as lasting 40 years. A thermostat, gasket, motor, or relay could be replaced. Those failures were treated as repairs, not death sentences. When someone says an old refrigerator ran for 40 years, they may mean the cabinet and sealed cooling system remained useful, while smaller parts were repaired around them. Modern repairs can be more difficult and expensive. A technician may need model-specific diagnostic information, electronic boards, special tools, and costly replacement parts. A control board can cost hundreds of dollars, and because electronics change quickly, a part for a 10 or 15-year-old refrigerator may no longer be easy to find. The machine may still be physically repairable, but it may no longer be economically repairable. There does not need to be a secret plan. The same result can happen when repairs take longer, parts cost more, and a new replacement comes with delivery and a warranty. The homeowner starts calculating, how old is the refrigerator? How much will the repair cost? What else might fail next? The refrigerator did not become impossible to save. It became too difficult to justify saving. That calculation was very different when electric refrigerators first entered American homes. They were luxury purchases. Some early models cost close to $1,000, while the General Electric monitor top initially cost more than $500. For a family, that was a major investment. If such an expensive machine developed a problem, calling a technician was the obvious choice. Throwing it away would have been financially painful. Over time, manufacturing improved, competition increased, and refrigerators became much more affordable compared with household income. That was good for consumers. But lower purchase prices changed repair behavior. If an appliance represents several months of savings, you repair it. If a replacement can be delivered tomorrow with new features and a warranty, the decision becomes less obvious. Manufacturers also began competing on visible features: price, interior space, finish, ice makers, water dispensers, and digital controls. But 30-year durability is almost impossible to demonstrate. A salesperson can show a touchscreen in 30 seconds. He cannot prove what the refrigerator will be doing in the year 2055. There is also one uncomfortable fact that nostalgia often ignores. Many old refrigerators used enormous amounts of electricity. Their simple systems could be durable, but they were not designed for modern energy standards. From the 1970s onward, rising energy costs and new regulations pushed manufacturers to improve compressors, insulation, door seals, airflow, and temperature controls. The result was dramatic. A modern refrigerator can be larger and more capable while using only a fraction of the electricity consumed by many older models. So refrigerator engineering did not simply become worse. In many ways, it became better. Modern refrigerators use less energy, provide more storage, prevent frost, and operate more quietly. They are also designed to achieve many goals at once. It must be affordable, spacious, quiet, attractive, energy efficient, feature-rich, and easy to manufacture. No company can maximize every goal without making trade-offs. Consumers changed the bargain too. We wanted chilled water, automatic defrosting, door alarms, digital controls, separate cooling zones, larger interiors, and attractive finishes. Manufacturers responded. But every feature adds parts, wires, seals, sensors, and controls, and every connection creates another place where heat, moisture, vibration, or age can cause trouble. That is the hidden feature tax. You do not usually pay it on the day you buy the refrigerator. You may pay it years later when a technician is standing in your kitchen staring at an error code. So why did some old refrigerators last 40 years? They were simpler. They had fewer electronic systems. Many had no ice makers, water dispensers, touchscreens, or multiple control boards. They were expensive enough to justify repairs. Replacement parts were easier to understand and replace. Local repairmen kept them alive. And many examples we remember were exceptional survivors that spent their final decades in garages and basements. Modern refrigerators offer a different bargain. They use far less electricity, provide more space, maintain temperature more accurately, remove frost automatically, and deliver water and ice. But they achieve all this with more complexity. The old refrigerator was not built by saints, and the modern refrigerator was not necessarily built by villains. They were built for two different markets. The old market expected a major appliance to be repaired. The modern market often expects it to be replaced when repair no longer feels financially sensible. That may be the most important difference. The customer, market, repair industry, and our expectations changed with the machine. If you want a refrigerator with a better chance of lasting, choose the simplest model that genuinely meets your needs. Ask whether you really need an external dispenser, 2 ice makers, a large screen, or an internet connection. Check whether replacement parts and local service are available. Keep ventilation clear, clean accessible coils, and inspect damaged door seals. A simple modern refrigerator may never become a family heirloom, But simplicity still improves its chances. Perhaps your family owned one of those seemingly immortal machines. Maybe it was bright white, harvest gold, or avocado green. Maybe it stood in your parents' kitchen when you were a child and later hummed for another 20 years in the garage. But it was not immortal. It was simple enough to understand, expensive enough to repair, and valuable enough to save.